So they're ready to tee it up and go here in Chicago, and this crowd smells the kill already, I think. They're really a vocal, tough crowd. Very hard in the opposition, very much behind the Bulls.
You know, if people could register the emotions that the players are going through at this very moment, I think the first couple of minutes of a game like this are by far the most difficult to play because you're so emotionally high. You want to win this game very badly, and Chicago has never gotten this far, and their players are really ready to play this ball game.
And there is the opposing coach of Dick Motta, Al Attles, an 11-year player with the Warriors as an NBA standout in the backcourt, great defensive player, but right now he coaches the #1 offense in the NBA against the #1 defense. Here is Barry moving on Bob Love. Barry goes to the basket, gets the good shot, can't get it through, and Boerwinkle clears the defensive board. Up court to Sloan, guarded by Lier. The Chicago Bulls in white with the ball for the first time. Here's Boerwinkle. Feeding off to Bob Love. First shot of the game is up. The rebound is taken down by 6'1", Norm Van Lier. Bounce pass goes out to Walker, driving on Barry, tries to put him up with a head fake, can't do it. Van Lier and back outside as the shot clock starts to wind down now. Sloan puts it up and hits it. And the Bulls take a 2-0 lead. Butch Beard brings the ball over the timeline. Sloan playing him loose on the outside. Wolf dropping back to tighten up in the middle. Charlie Johnson looks for the baseline, shoots up over Van Lier. And they recall if you were with us last week. Johnson hit his first 7 shots. Chicago coming down the floor. Here's Van Lier looking for the lane and putting it up. And Norm Van Lier and the Chicago Bulls go out in front 4-0. Jerry?
Well, if you look at Chicago's offense, many times they're going to rush the ball down the floor. If they don't have the good shot, they're not going to take it. But Norm Van Lier had a great shot there, cashed in on it, and that's the kind of shot that Golden State does not want to give Chicago.
Cliff Ray doesn't know what to do with the ball. 5 seconds to go now on the shot clock, and Cliff Ray goes high up over Tom Boerwinkle to put up the first field goal of the game for Golden State. It's a 4-2 game. Chicago on the run. The Golden State Warriors pressing in the backcourt as Sloan comes down and hits it off the run. Chicago shooting 3 for 4 here in the opening moments, takes a 6-2 lead. Jerry Sloan with 4 points for the Bulls. We have 10 minutes and 12 seconds to play in the first quarter as Rick Barry fires it up from the outside, and Barry hits his second shot of the game. And the Bulls lead by 2, 6-4. Barry pressing Walker. Boerwinkle sets the pick. Walker tries to go inside a switch off. He's picked up by Ray. Van Lier on the outside. Johnson against him. Now Chet Walker comes out. Love is down low. Sloan coming out high. A lot of motion in the Chicago offense. They go to Van Lier in the lane. Norm Van Lier hits it again, and it's an 8-4 game Chicago.
Chicago has really ran their patterns extremely well early in this ball game. If you give Chicago shots like that, they're going to make a long afternoon for you.
Keith Wilkes, one-on-one against Chet Walker, puts it up. Wilkes gets the shot, can't get it through. The rebound is tipped up. And we have a loose ball foul signaled against the Golden State Warriors. Foul is called on Keith Wilkes, the first team foul of the game. Now they're putting on Rick Barry now. Rick Barry gets the personal foul. Bob Love puts the shot up. Karam's off the back of the iron. Rebound slapped down. Wilkes picks it up. Knocked around. It goes out of bounds. Last touch by Jerry Sloan. Inbounds to Golden State. Dick Motta up and cheering the aggressive play of Jerry Sloan, and so are the Chicago fans up.
If you look at the 2 players on the floor for Chicago, they're the 2 guards that we talked about. Jerry Sloan and Norm Van Lier, both down on the floor early in this ball game. They're going to see that all day.
Beard alone on the one side. Ray comes across and crashes headlong into Sloan. There'll be a foul call on Clifford Ray. And right now, Al Attles wants to clock it over. We have 9 minutes and 2 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Almost 20,000 are up and cheering the Chicago Bulls as they've taken an 8-4 lead. We have 9:02 to play in the first quarter here at Chicago. Bulls are up 8-4. A game the Golden State Warriors in blue must win to stay alive in the playoffs. Here's Jerry Sloan matched against Charles Johnson. Outside to Walker. Barry matched against him. Down low is Boerwinkle trying to move inside low against Ray. Can't get free. And Walker goes to Bob Love, ready to put it up against Wilkes. Off the glass, and the Bulls have their biggest lead of the game. It's 10-4 Chicago.
Well, Bob Love just simply stepped inside to keep Wilkes. Wilkes was right on him. Wasn't a very good shot, but Bob Love has made those shots for a long time, and he'll continue to make them.
Keith Wilkes against Chet Walker. They go outside to Ray. Out to Rick Barry. A quick pass beautifully executed underneath the Butch Beard, who lays it in off glass. and Golden State comes back to within 4. Great assist by Berry, who was the 5th leading assist man in the NBA this year, and number 1 among all the front court players in assists. First 4 were guards. Foul call here against Butch Beard.
You know, I think what you can look for in this ball game, particularly for Golden State, Rick Barry is going to shoot his basketball more. He must score some points, and particularly early, to get them off to a good start.
That's right. He only hit 35% in the last game and only 26% the game before that. He was 16 of 44 in one game. Ball will come inbounds to the Chicago Bulls. Tom Boerwinkle will put it in. Bulls lead by 4, 10-6. Walker lost the basketball but did not lose it out of bounds, and now it's tipped out of bounds by Charles Johnson, and it will come inbounds to the Chicago Bulls.
Golden State is really going to have to tighten up their defensive play, and also with that, their rebounding. The rebounding hasn't been very good early in this ball game, and Chicago's had many chances to follow up shots.
Norm Van Lier, one of those combative Chicago backcourt players, gets the ball to Love. It's tipped away by Wilkes, and out hustling everybody to the ball is Sloan, who puts it up in the air just before the shot clock goes out. So the Bulls don't get a shot. Now Charles Johnson throws the ball away, and we have a foul call against Charles Johnson. So it goes back the other way. And right now we have 3 team fouls against the Warriors. Johnson coming down court, ran into a man and positioned himself in front of him. Didn't see him. Van Lier, hawked by Johnson, gets the ball out to Sloan. Chicago's having difficulty penetrating the Golden State offense now. Sloan does it, feeds off to Boerwinkle, who throws it in and lays it in.
One of the dangers when you press a team is that if a player is able to cut by the defense, you're going to be wide open in the middle. Jerry Sloan made a good drive inside, spotted Boerwinkle for the very easy basket.
Cliff Ray turns around, puts it up. Rebound is tapped over to Bob Lowe. Out to Jerry Sloan, and here now come the Chicago Bulls. As Van Lier sets it up, looks to move to the basket, Wilkes picks him up. And a whistle and a foul call. Keith Wilkes gets the personal foul. That's his first. Golden State having some foul trouble here early in the game. Jerry Sloan with 4 points and 2 assists. Directly involved in 8 of the Bulls' 12 points. They lead 12-6. Another call. This one's on Cliff Ray. Second foul on him.
Okay, here's a particular play, and Ray just was a little bit late getting out there as Walker cut by the screen.
Boerwinkle looks into Chet Walker, who goes down the baseline, shut off by Berry. Walker puts it up off the face. Rebound tapped over by 6'1" Charlie Johnson to Keith Wilkes. Here comes Golden State on the run. Charles Johnson down the middle, feeds off to Berry, inside to Cliff Ray. No shot as Boerwinkle defends him. Feed out to Rick Barry. Barry calls for a clear side. He wants to go one-on-one with Chet Walker. Barry puts it up, screaming. There's a foul as he shoots, but there was no whistle. Very, very aggressive game. Officials on top of it. Cross-court pass to Barry. He puts it up again, and Rick Barry drills it from 20 feet out. It's 12-8.
Don, he's really looking for his shot early in this ball game, and it seems like to me that the best thing that they can do when he's looking for the shot is get him the basketball. This guy can carry you by himself.
Well, Rick Barry is to the front court with Van Lier and Sloan out of the guard position. He's infallible as a player, and now the Bulls get the back door. Going in for the score, they get a 14-8 lead. Bob Love getting his 3rd and 4th points. Inside to Wilkes, and Golden State comes right back as they open up the lane with men moving out. Wilkes takes it down, gets the assist and the score. His 1st points.
There have been 2 very fine passes by men 6'10" in this ball game. Tom Boerwinkle, 7-footer. Cliff Ray, 6'10", made 2 very fine passes to free Love and Wilkes for the easy shot.
Van Lier drives the baseline. There's no shot. He gets it out to Chet Walker. To Van Lier in the corner up against Johnson. Loses him in the face. Van Lier puts it up and gets the basket. Great shot by Norm Van Lier. He has 6 points, and the Bulls lead by 6, 16-10. Keith Wilkes looks to go in. Walker picks him up on the switch off. Wilkes gets the shot away. Tapped away again by 6'1" Charles Johnson to Ray. Twice now, Charles Johnson is tipped away, and here is another whistle underneath. A 3-second violation is signaled against Golden State. Bill Bridges in the game now, former teammate of yours, Jerry, at Los Angeles.
The reason for Billy Bridges insertion into the ball game is to get on Bob Love. Don't let him get off so early in the ball game. He's a good defensive player, and you'll see him. He'll get his body on Bob Love, overplay him, make him work real hard to get the basketball.
Love puts it up. Clifford Ray goes down and sweeps that defensive board clear. Gets the ball up to Charles Johnson. We have 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter as Berry fires and hits again. Berry finding the range now, brings Golden State back to within 4. He has 6 points. Berry is looking to go to the basket. Anywhere he gets the shot, he'll put it up. He's hit 3 of 5. Here's Van Lier going to the baseline. A high arcing shot, missed it all. Up-court pass to Johnson. It's a 3-on-3 break. Lead pass to Beard to Johnson. Off glass, he doesn't get it. Forced the shot to Van Lier, to Bob Love. Ray is there to defend. And now Bob Love gets the ball, settles it down, waits for his teammates to come up court, and the Bulls will set a play.
Well, they just will not rush their offense. They're very patient. If you're patient, you're going to get good shots, and Chicago does that very well.
Have to do something here pretty quick. Van Lier shooting just before the shot clock went out. Bridges gets the ball up court to Johnson. Bulls get 4 men back on defense, and so Golden State will set the offense. Here is Ray. Going to Beard, going to Rick Barry. It's very apparent the Golden State offense is going to Rick Barry. Moving on Walker, shooting on Moorwinkle. Doesn't get the shot. Rebound tip to Butch Beard. He gets it on the follow-up. And it's a 2-point game, Chicago. As Nate Thurman looks on, he might be coming in shortly. The Chicago Bulls have called a timeout. So after trailing by 6 points, 35 seconds to go, the Golden State Warriors have come back with 2 quick field goals. They now trail by 2. Warriors coach Al Attles has now taken Charles Johnson out. They put a little more height in the backcourt, and Jeff Mullins, he'll be matched against Sloan as Chicago brings the ball up. Chet Walker looks inside to Love, defended against very competitively by Bill Bridges. Turnaround jump shot, no good, tapped out by Ray, picked up by Love. Right back up, Bob Love gets it off glass. Big 6'8" forward Bob Love now has 6 points. Love says there's only 4 or 5 players in the NBA who play well at both ends of the floor game after game, and he's one of them. Butch Beard forces a turnaround shot. Sloan, the leading backcourt rebounder in the league, takes down the defensive board. 18-14 Chicago. 2:40 to go in the first quarter. Love is left free. Not good enough there, and Barry goes way up to get the rebound and takes it down the floor at 6'8". Looking for an outlet man. Nobody's open underneath. Barry now fires the ball out to Ray to Mullins. Inside they go to Bridges, picked off nicely by Ray, and here is a shot by Rick Barry, not quite up there. And again, Sloan takes down the defensive rebound for Chicago.
Well, you really have to be impressed with Chicago's rebounding. They've done a great job so far on both boards. Golden State just cannot afford to let this happen through the whole ballgame.
Rick Barry is 3 for 7 shooting the ball. Bob Love goes inside, puts it up, and draws a foul on the play. So far in the game, Rick Barry, who, as we've been pointing out, must score, has hit 3 of 7 shots.
I think the most important thing, Don, he should continue to shoot the ball if he doesn't shoot a good percentage, because this is the way they've done the job all season long, and when you go against what you're not going to get the job done. Bob Love,
averaging 27 points a game here in the playoffs, has a career scoring average in the league of 23 points a game, the 10th best in the league's history. Hit 38 points in 1 playoff game. And he had 37 against Golden State in the first game of this series. It was won by Golden State. So far, the Chicago Bulls have no fouls as Jeff Mullins arches in the long jump shot.
The State is going to pick Chicago up all over the floor. They're going to try to press their guards, not let them get in so deep with their offense. But with a guy like Van Lier, you just can't press this guy. He's too quick, and you're going to get him to the foul line a lot. Golden State's already in the penalty situation, and this is not a good position for them to be in.
Van Lier had that spectacular game last Sunday, and although he just scored, I think, 10 points in the last Chicago win, he thought it was his best game. Beard takes it all the way down, but can't get the shot. Jeff Mullins slaps the ball out of bounds. It will come inbound to Chicago. Golden State is picking up the Bull backline players in the backcourt. Van Lier cautiously brings it over the timeline, waits for things to develop, now sees the lane open, shoots down, loses the ball, picks it up. Van Lier lost the ball and out-hustled everybody to it. Gets it out to Walker. Matched against Mullins. Chet Walker way up. Knocks the ball in.
Well, I'll tell you, these Chicago guards are something. Norm Van Lier great quickness. He broke around Butch Beard, broke their defense down, loses the control, gets it back, and finally Chet Walker makes a relatively easy shot for him.
And the shot gives Chicago a 7-point lead, 23-16. Here is Butch Beard. Van Lier picks him up. Mullins puts it up off the switch. Rebound knocked around. Finally, it's racked over to Chet Walker. He looks up court, goes to Sloan. 4 Golden State players are back. Sloan still looking to go to the basket. And outside of Van Lier, who'll set it up. 11 seconds to go on the shot clock. Sloan looks inside. Love is down low as Walker comes out. Berry and Love elbowing. We're going to have a foul call. Bulls having opened up a 7-point lead. And there at Landover, Maryland is how it looks at the end of the first quarter as Washington leads Boston 24-18. And here's how we stand at Chicago. Golden State trailing by 7. The tap is controlled by the Chicago Bulls. Garrett is in the game. Gets the ball to Van Lier. Picked up by Johnson. Bob Love comes outside against Bridges down low. Nate Thurman is in as the pivot man, replacing Boerwinkle. Here is Love firing against Berry. Bob Love. What a scorer he's been in these playoffs. He now has 10 points for the Bulls.
Bob Love is really playing a good ball game so far. He's playing good defense. He's also looking for his shot as Rick Berry is for the Golden State Warriors.
Berry, quick to shoot. Hits it again. Rick Berry now drilling the ball on line drive jump shots. Keeping Golden State within range. They're down 27-20. 11 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first half. The Chicago Bulls with the ball in Van Lier. Into the middle they go to the high post man. Thurman looks for an end cut. He goes off to Van Lier to the near side against Johnson. Feed inside to Bob Love. He was tipped. Ray picks up the loose ball. Good defense by Golden State up court to Berry. Against Roland Garrett. Rick Berry fires again, and Rick Berry really on the money now. He's caught fire. And Golden State is back to within 5 as Berry's thrown in 12 points. Sloan to Van Lier. Mullins playing him cautiously, aware that he's going to try to penetrate as soon as he sees the open lane. They go out to Love to Bridges. Here is Roland Garrett. He has worn down Rick Berry with his great ability to run. Roland Garrett, they call him the Road Runner. And they put him in to run down Rick Berry physically. Again, Golden State sweeps down the rebound, and now they can come back to within 3 points with a bucket here. Johnson works off a pick from Ray and fires it up and gets it. Now it's a 3-point game. All of a sudden, the Golden State Warriors have ripped off 3 straight field goals in less than a minute. And they have come back to within 3, but here's a foul call on Johnson. He ran into Nate Thurman. Rick Berry with 2 quick field goals in the second quarter now has 12 points. Beard has 4, Ray, Wilkes, Mullins each with 2. Van Lier is high for the Bulls. He has 9, Love has 8, Sloan has 4.
You know, Nate Thurman here would like nothing better than to play a great ball game here and win this game today. Former member of the Warriors for a number of years, traded Chicago last year. He feels this might be his last chance to play on a world championship team.
Nate Thurman, 33 years old, the number 1 draft choice out of Bowling Green back in 1963. Number 1 draft choice of the Warriors, his whole career with them until this year. Now he's a white shirt today against Golden State. 27-24. Berry can bring them back to it in 1. Looking to put it up. No foul call, but the ball is slapped over to Johnson, who puts it up off the run. Tipped up by Mullins, taken down by Thurman. And Chicago comes down court with the ball. Jerry?
Well, Bob Love was really all over Rick Berry there. Played really fine defense against him. Forced Berry into trying to take a rather awkward shot.
Looks like goaltending. He slapped it off last, but the official rules no. And down court to score for Golden State is Charles Johnson. And Golden State now, from 9 points down, has rallied back to within 1. Very aggressive defense by the Golden State Warriors, forcing Chicago to turn the ball over, not get the good shot. Thurman looks for Love. Can't get free. Now he does. Bridges has him inside to Garrett. Loses the ball. Throws it inbound. It is an inbound to the Golden State, to the Chicago Bulls.
You know what? Golden State defense is really toughened up here, and they're forcing Chicago out a little bit higher on their patterns. They haven't had the ball in good position yet, and Dick Motta wants a timeout.
Now the game has turned around in the first 3 minutes of the second quarter as the Warriors have come back to within 1. Now, 9:24 to go in the first half here in Chicago. Norm Van Lier inbounds the ball. The Bulls have a 1-point lead. They've been up as much as 9. The Golden State's run up 8 straight points here. Gary Sloan puts up the first points in a long time for Chicago. He now has 6.
Boy, if you make a mistake against Chicago, they really capitalized on it. They ran just a simple switching pattern there, and the switch was not made, and Sloan had a very, very easy shot.
Ray comes out high. Bridges goes down hard as he sets a pick, was run into. Johnson dribbling in and out. Here's a pass to Clifford Ray. Feeds off to Mullen. Mullen shoots just before the shot clock runs out, but there is a whistle underneath.
That was just simply great defense on Chicago's part. They would not let them get into their offensive ball, and consequently they could not get the shot off.
They ruled the shot clock was out, although the horn didn't sound. The official, looking at the clock, ruled that the shot was not taken by Mullen before the clock ran out. Now, up court, they try to go to Johnson. Van Lier breaks the play up, tips it over to Nate Thurman. So Chicago has the ball back in the three-point lead with 8:25 to play in the first half. 29-26 as Roland Garrett drives inside. Berry tips the ball away and takes it. Rick Berry brings the ball up court on the dribble. Picked up by Bob Lowe. Feeds off. Berry to Clifford Ray. Basket does not go, as you see, but there is a foul call on the play, and Clifford Ray will shoot for Chicago.
Okay, on this particular play, Berry just cut inside. He fed the ball to Clifford Ray, and Roland Garrett gets in front of his way and tries to pick up the foul, but he had not established position. The officials are right on top of the play. Clifford Ray has a chance to make 2 free throws.
So, big Cliff Ray goes to the free throw line. Now we'll pick up again a score from Landover, Maryland. Washington leading 30-23 over the Celtics in the second quarter. And as you know, Washington can eliminate the defending NBA champion Boston Celtics with a win in that game. Clifford Ray at the free throw line. Played collegiately at Oklahoma and played professionally under that man you just saw, Dick Motta, before the trade last year. That makes it 29-27. The Chicago Bulls are in the lead. 8:11 to go in the first half. Van Lier dribbling up court quickly is against Charles Johnson. Goes into the corner to Love, quickly passing off to Van Lier. He penetrates and takes the shot himself. Rebound tipped up and taken down by Bridges. To Johnson, a 4-on-2 break. Lead to Clifford Ray, lost the handle. Feeds off to Mullen. Rejected by Thurman. Garrett comes down court. Garrett drives to the basket, tries to stuff and miss the shot. But Bob Lowe makes it a little more simply. Off glass, and now Johnson gets it up court to Rick Berry. A furious tempo to this game. They can't keep up this.
Well, really, you hit it right on the head. They just cannot keep the tempo up like this.
2-shot foul. A wild, wild game.
Oh, okay, we have Roland Garrett. He goes in and tries to stuff the ball. Billy Bridges looked like he fouls him. The officials don't call it. Chicago, of course, in a good situation, rebounding situation. Matty Gukas rebounds it, gets it over to Bob Love, and he puts in the basket. But I think the big thing that happens on these particular plays, when you make a good defensive play, invariably it seems like you're able to run down and get a good opportunity shot on the other end of the floor. Nate Thurman's block set up everything.
Rick Berry cannot mask the fire inside, how badly he wants to win this game. The number 1 free throw shooter in the NBA. He hit the first shot to make it 31-28. Gets them both. He's automatic. He'll make 20 in a row blindfold. I've seen him do it.
This guy's an incredible shooter, and from the free throw line, he's second to none in the NBA.
Van Lier working up court against Charles Johnson. Drives the lane, feeds off to Thurman. Can't get the shot. It's tipped out to Phil Smith. Smith, a rookie out of San Francisco, puts it up off the run. Gets his own rebound beautifully. And there's a foul call underneath.
Well, the intensity of this ball game is really something else right now. You get an idea of what happens on this rebounding basket. Okay, here they go up for the rebound. Roland Garrett was in pretty good position, but the ball rebounded high, and he backed into Phil Smith, and that's why the foul was called.
His coach at San Francisco calls Phil Smith the best backcourt player that's ever been at that school. Smith puts it up. He's a rookie. Inside, Bridges on the rebound. Fights for the rebound. Thurman takes it. Up to Gukas. 31-29. Garrett loses the ball, but picks it up before it goes out of bounds. Out of Bob Love. Here's Matty Gukas from 20 feet out. Gukas comes in and hits it.
You give Matty Gukas that kind of shot, he's going to make it all day. He's one of the very, very good shooters when you leave him alone. You put a little pressure on him, he doesn't seem to shoot as well.
That makes it 33-29 Chicago. Keith Wilkes looks to go to the basket, arcs it up, a la Bob Love behind the head and hits it. And Keith Wilkes, who was refined and polished by the wizard himself, John Wooden, in 3 years at UCLA. Went on to be NBA Rookie of the Year, brings the Golden State Warriors back to within 2. Shot by Garrett, rebound by Bridges, up court to Smith, looks down court, a 6'4" guard. Goes to over and back, the Bulls protest, but Richie Powers was right on the play. Here is a jump shot by Johnson. He's forcing his shots. He's not hitting.
Not a good shot by Charlie Johnson. They don't want to get caught up in a ball game where they're going to get bad shots. You've got to get good shots against the Chicago team.
Roland Garrett puts it up. Now Chicago's cooled off considerably. They had a 9-point lead. It has been cut to 2, and the Golden State Warriors can tie the game with a field goal here. 5 minutes and 45 seconds to play in the first half. Here is a pass out to Keith Wilkes. Starts to move down the baseline. Shut off by Garrett. Wilkes arcs it up again. All for a travel. No basket. Al Adams is going to call a timeout. He wants to counsel his team with 5:35 left to play in the first half, and the score, the Chicago Bulls 33, the Golden State Warriors 31. One of the most embarrassing moments in basketball if you take the collar 0 for 3 on this.
Particularly when it's on national television.
So Phil Smith hits 1 of 3. And Golden State trails by a point, 36-35, and now the Warriors are pressing. Inbounds to Van Lier. Racing up court, gets a pick from Bob Love and gets it over the timeline quickly. The strategy, of course, being not so much to try to get the ball away, but to force Golden State or Chicago to use up time bringing the ball up court. Van Lier from way out, and Barry sweeps down the defensive board. Good position way up and over the rim to get it. Here's a pass to Phil Smith. Into the lane, he gets it out to Rick Barry. Moving on Love, and Barry on a fall-away shot puts it up, and he drew a foul on Bob Love on the play, and Barry will get 3 chances to make 2. A big play by Rick Barry. That's the second on Bob Love, Jerry.
On that particular play, Phil Smith made this shot possible. He penetrates, there's Bob Love watching the ball. Then Love has to rush at Rick Barry, and when he rushes at him, gets himself in poor defensive position. He fouls Barry on the arm as he goes up for the shot.
Back to live action. Barry's hit his first free throw attempt, hit his second. Puts a tremendous amount of spin on the ball. And all of a sudden, the Golden State Warriors are in the lead, 37-36. With 3 minutes and 5 seconds left to go in the first half. Boerwinkle comes out high. Turns against George Johnson. And Charles Johnson steals the ball. Inside to Smith. Lays the ball up. It'll go. And the Golden State Warriors have a 3-point lead on the driving layup by Phil Smith.
Golden State pressure by the guards is really bothering Chicago right now. Notice they're sitting up much higher out than they would like to. And before the ball game, Al Adams really wanted to get into this and see if they could do a much better job in forcing Chicago's offense to start higher.
Bill Smith goes down hard. He is called for personal foul. Bill Smith getting his first personal foul, and now the Chicago Bulls. There he goes, the super fan. He would be the world's most beautiful streaker.
He certainly would.
And now we see the Washington Bullets taking command of their game with the Boston Celtics at Landover, Maryland, 46-33 in the second quarter. So the defending champions on the brink of elimination. They have to win today, and they're down by 13. The Chicago Bulls are down by 3. Bob Love puts it up. The ball is tipped. Look at Charlie Johnson leap way up, but he knocks it over to Van Lier. To Walker, inside to Love, against Keith Wilkes. Johnson at 6'1", takes the defensive board.
You know, last 2 shots Bob Love's taken, Keith Wilkes has made him change his shot a little bit, and consequently he hasn't had a good rhythm on it, and he hasn't made the shot.
Bill Smith misses the shot. Roland Garrett has a nice tap-in attempt, but can't get it. And the Bulls come back the other way. The Chicago Bulls come back the other way. On the outside, Love into Boerwinkle, the building they call him, the big man, the best passing big man in the league. And Boerwinkle swings off a hook. Up with a loose ball to Rick Barry is Phil Smith. Barry one-on-one against Walker from 18 feet out. Rick Barry hits it. He can just put points up like a totalizer.
He can get them very quickly. He's got 18 points already, but I think most important thing, he's really looking for his shot. He's not looking to pass the ball off, and they need that from him.
And Golden State now has a 5-point lead. Into the corner they go to Chet Walker. It's 41-36. Golden State is in the lead after trailing in the second quarter by 9. They've come back. Their defense has been aggressive inside. They've denied Chicago the second shot when Chicago's even been able to get the good shot. They've turned the ball over a lot without taking a shot. Very tough defense. Walker puts it up. Slapped out. Barry gets the ball. Up court to Johnson. On the left flank is Smith to the basket. Bill Smith puts it up. And Johnson out-jumps two men taller to get the rebound. To Keith Wilkes against Chet Walker. They give Wilkes a clear side. One-on-one against Walker.
Ball down the floor quickly. They've had shots where Chicago's defense has not been set. And Chicago's just going to have to play much better on their offense so they can control Golden State's running.
42 seconds. Barry with a great feed off to George Johnson. And here is a foul call against the Chicago Bulls. Rick Barry really keying the Golden State offense now.
He's such a threat when he gets the ball that he draws the crowd always. But the great thing about him, he always gives the ball up. Having a tremendous amount of problem getting inside for their good shots. Early in the ball game, they seem to be able to run into their offense freely. But boy, the pressure of the Golden State guards is really starting to tell in Chicago right now.
It is 44-38 Golden State. And we're just about set to go to open the third quarter as the two teams have completed their halftime warm-up. At the half at Landover, Maryland, the Washington Bullets leading the Boston Celtics in command of that game, 55-40. So Boston is out. They don't win today. And right now they're at big halftime deficit. Here at Chicago Stadium, where almost 20,000 are assembled, it's the Golden State Warriors up on the Bulls 46-38. A game the Golden State Warriors must, of course, win. To start the third quarter for Chicago, Norm Van Lier comes out, along with Jerry Sloan, to play in the backcourt. Up front, Bob Love, Tom Boerwinkle, and Chet Walker. Here come the Golden State Warriors. Coming out, Rick Barry, number 24, with 20 points in the first half. He had poor shooting games the last two games. Hit only 35% Thursday night, only 26% Tuesday night. And out there with him are Clifford Ray, Keith Wilkes, Charlie Johnson, and Butch Beard.
Another factor, I think, in this ball game, Don, was that early in the game when Al Attles went to his bench responded with very fine play. Chicago's bench, of course, didn't contribute as much.
Barry goes cross-court to Keith Wilkes. Doesn't get the shot as Love comes over to defend against him. Here's a pass to Rick Barry, and he starts out with a quick shot that he can't hit, but Butch Beard gets the offensive rebound. The Barry against Chet Walker, a head fake, and Barry puts him in the air and gets the shot. Great shot, pressure shot by Barry.
I'm surprised that they have Chet Walker covering Rick Barry. Bob Love normally covers him, but they might adjust that somewhat in the second half of this ball game.
We are early in the third quarter. The Chicago Bulls with Norm Van Lier feeding off to Chet Walker have the ball. 48-38, Golden State with its biggest lead, a 10-point advantage. Bob Love puts it up off glass, rebound to Rick Barry, up court to Wilkes ahead of the field. He'll go in uncontested for 2 points. Keith Wilkes sets it down, the NBA Rookie of the Year, and all of a sudden, Golden State has command of this game, 50-38. The Chicago Bulls coming into the game a decided favorite on their home floor, but Golden State playing the big game they have to win. As Chet Walker drives to the basket, there's a whistle, and the call will go against the Chicago Bulls. Chet Walker is called for a charge, just his first personal foul.
Well, Chicago has not really adjusted to Golden State's defense in this ball game, particularly from the second quarter on. They're going to have to do a little bit more with their offense as far as moving the ball a little bit better.
Rick Barry loses the ball as he goes to the basket. A fight for it underneath. Boerwinkle comes down with it. Up court to Sloan. Jerry Sloan with an bounce lead pass to Chester Walker up the baseline of the course. He hit the bottom of the backboard, and Chet Walker went down very hard. He is writhing in pain underneath the Chicago Bulls basket. Chet Walker really hit the floor very hard, as he is attended to now, to hope he's not seriously hurt.
Don, the tough thing about basketball is when you're hung in the air. Chet Walker drives to the basket. Clifford Ray gets there a little bit late. Walker goes up, and I think you'll see he probably falls right on his back.
Oh, man.
And that's a terrible fall for players to have to take. Here we have another view of it. Walker looks like he has the baseline neighbor. Ray gets over there, gets in front of him a little bit late.
Oh, we've got a great crew picking everything up here today. Unfortunately, that didn't go well at all for Chet Walker in Chicago. We'll have to see how he is. Well, Unfortunately, as you can see, Chet Walker is up and on his feet and walking all right after a very, very hard fall as he drove to the basket. As Chicago following is up and cheering him. Well, it looked like he could have been seriously hurt, but he's all right.
Every time you drive for a basket, when somebody gets in front of you, they hit you in midair, Don, you lose your balance. And once you lose your balance in midair, you're pretty much at the mercy of the player under you. If he doesn't grab you, break your fall, invariably it seems like you always fall on your back.
They always seem to go after you and hit you in the nose.
Too many times. Too many times.
9 broken noses, 2 from Willis Reed.
That's right. I could almost remember all of them, but it's not very nice
Willis
to
broke
think
it
about.
twice in 6 weeks?
Twice in 6 weeks, yes. He was my favorite player there for 6-week period.
50-38. Chet Walker's all right. There is Rick Barry. He has scored 22 points, 20 of them in the first half. Golden State with its biggest lead of the game, 50-38. This has been a game of stark time. Boy, this guy's a fast healer, Chet Walker.
You know, a lot of times it just knocked the breath out of you. But on that particular play, Chet Walker was really hurting. He felt pretty good on his back. And probably the most scary thing of all, to be hung up in the air and you know you're going to hit, but you just hope you don't hit hard.
He came down very hard, but walked it off, and now he'll go to the free throw line. Walker will shoot 2. He can bring Chicago back to within 10. We have 10 minutes and 37 seconds left to play in the third quarter here at Chicago Stadium. Golden State trailing in the series 3 games to 2. Now Chet Walker has a total of 7 points. And this tough Chicago crowd comes alive, gets on the Golden State Warriors. Rick Barry is waving Charlie Johnson over to set a pick down low. Wilkes looks for Barry, goes one-on-one with Walker, and we'll have a foul call. It's on Keith Wilkes. His second.
You know, that was probably a pretty good strategy there. You'd think he wouldn't be moving as well with his back hurting a little bit, but he responded and he got through the offensive foul from Keith Wilkes.
Charlie Johnson slaps the ball away from Van Lier. Van Lier bounce passing up court to Love, who's picked up by Wilkes on the outside. Here's Sloan against Butch Beer. They go to Walker one-on-one with Barry. And a whistle stops play underneath. As Richie Powers calls a foul on Golden State. It's on Keith Wilkes, his third. Second team foul of the quarter against the Warriors, none against the Bulls. Now we have an offensive foul on Bob Love. His third.
These officials are not going to let this ball game get out of hand because we have a great ball game so far. They've done a good job. And I think if they continue to do that, we're going to see the kind of game we had the first half.
They've got good control of it. Have to. Wilkes against Walker. Looks for the lane. Here is Keith Wilkes moving on Chet Walker. Puts him up with a head fake. Can't get the roll. Rebound is tapped over to Jerry Slow. To Norm Van Lier. A lot of noise here at the Chicago Stadium again now. They're looking for the Bulls to get back in the game. They're down by 10, 50-40. Van Lier goes inside to Chet Walker. Barry slaps the ball away and knocks it out of bounds.
Barry's going to have to be very careful. He's got 3 fouls. And if he would draw his 4th foul early in this game, it really could curtail his effectiveness late.
The Chicago Bulls can't hit again. Rebound comes down to Cliff Ray, and here is a foul call. Now the ruling is out of bounds off Cliff Ray. Cliff Ray, so as not to be assessed a technical, ran off the court to do his muttering.
Okay, here's the play again. Jerry Sloan battling for the rebound. So many times you'll see him in there. Clifford Ray reaches, looked like he reaches for the ball. Wasn't very clear though.
Back to live action. Rick Barry comes down with the rebound and a missed Chicago shot, and Barry puts it up. In and out. Rebound to Van Lier. It'll go inbound to the Golden State Warriors.
You know, probably the most frustrating thing of all for Chicago, they work very hard to get the home court advantage. You're coming back here today, and they're not playing the kind of ball game they want to play. That's really tough on them.
Golden State coming back. Golden State playing the big game. They're up by 10 now. Barry fires it up. Now Barry goes a little bit cold. Missed his last 2 shots on the jump. Here's an up-court pass to Sloan. 9:05 to play in the third quarter. The Chicago Bulls are trailing by 10. Boerwinkle in the high post looks for men cutting. The guards go down low. Forwards come out. They go to Van Lier. Norm Van Lier, who ignited this team early in the game when they jumped out to a 9-point lead, hits it. Van Lier now has scored 11 points. His first points in the third quarter.
Well, this crowd now is really getting involved in this ball game. They were relatively quiet the first half. They felt that Chicago was going to win this ball game, but here they come alive the second half.
A superb drive by Butch Beard, who came across the lane, turned the corner, and cut down it. That's the key to the guys that can drive. They turn the corner.
That's right, and particularly against Chicago, you don't get very many opportunities, and when you do, you better take advantage of it.
Now Van Lier comes right back. He is negated by Clifford Ray, and the ball will be inbounds to Chicago, as Butch Beard was the last to touch it. Ray saw the big checkmate in the lane. Clifford Ray knew he couldn't get a shot, so he fired it out. 52-42 as Bob Love goes to the basket, puts it up. Rebound taken down by Ray and Love. We're going to jump the ball. That's a good call.
Again, Bob Love has not taken the good shot that he normally has. The last few times he shot the ball, he's been off balance, hasn't been set real well. You have to give some credit to Keith Wilkes.
Clifford Ray will go up against Bob Love. Ray with a 4-inch height advantage, and now Winkle is going out. And Nate Thurman, whose defense was a big factor in the first half for Chicago when they got the lead, is back in. The tap controlled easily by Ray. Nips it over to Butch Beard. 52-42, Golden State is in the lead. Butch Beard from Louisville University has the ball to Keith Wilkes. Here is Barry firing off the run and hitting it. Wow.
Well, they're looking for him every time down the floor, and he's responding with a real good shooting effort in this ball game so far.
24 for Barry. Into the high post, Thurman doesn't like to shoot from out there, goes to Love, or to Sloan, and Jerry Sloan drills it from the corner to bring Chicago back to within 10 again. Very physical underneath, as you see along the side of the lane. Clifford Ray crashing into people, picking people off. A pass out to Charles Johnson, loses the ball and steps away. Love goes across court for Sloan, driving on Barry. Feed off to Chet Walker, and the rebound comes down to Wilkes and to Walker and goes out of bounds. It will come inbounds to go to the Chicago Bulls, to the chagrin of Rick Barry. Wow. Boston's getting after it. Boston is really coming back in that game, down by 15 at the half. The Celtics rallying back in it. Things a long way from over, both these games. Foul on Golden State. Clifford Ray gets his fourth foul. They've got a real problem if he goes out. George Johnson is not his equal. Whereas Chicago has the two good centers. Love rims the basket, rebound, tipped to Butch Beard. He comes down with his head down to the dribble, let her high. Butch Beard tries to go inside, crashes into Van Lier. They call a foul on Butch Beard.
On that particular play, here we have it again. Butch Beard looked like he wants to try to drive around Jerry Sloan. Watch Norm Van Lier. Butch Beard gets a little bit out of control.
Fouls on Van Lier. Moved into him.
No, it's good call. Good call.
That makes a horse race.
That's right.
That foul was on Johnson, his third. 54-44. Golden State in the lead. Van Lier against Johnson against Beard. Outside to Jerry Sloan. Rebound is slapped around, and Barry takes down the loose ball. Golden State, despite the intensity of the play in the recent minutes, still is maintaining the 10-point lead.
Again, Rick Barry just waved Butch Beard away. It looks like he wants to shoot this ball.
Barry is just unconscious now. He's putting everything in. Rick Barry playing the big game with 26 points. And here's a call against Chicago. And now with the Golden State Warriors again opening up a 12-point lead, 56-44, the Chicago Bulls want a timeout with 6:20 to play in the third quarter. Barry is 10 for 20 from the floor in the game. He is perfect at the free throw line, 6 for 6. He's been the factor. Here is Butch Beard driving. George Johnson puts it up and taps it in. No basket. For a second time, George Johnson, the Golden State Warriors, is called for offensive goaltending.
You know, he had a relatively easy shot on that particular play. It looked like he would just take it up and dunk it. But here's the play again. He rebounds the ball. Looked like he's going to guide it right in the basket. He misses it. And as the ball's hanging on the rim, he just taps it. There it is. He shouldn't have touched the ball. It looked like it was going in anyway.
So it's 56-44, Golden State with a 12-point lead. Here is Van Lier driving to the top of the lane, starting down the lane and taking it right through. Puts up an awkward shot, though, as the defense was there to thwart him. But Thurman fights for it and gets the offensive rebound for Chicago. Sloan against Beard, forced shot. That's a one-pointer.
Well, Chicago has forced a lot of shots in the last 5 minutes of this ball game. They really haven't gotten into their offense real well in the second half.
Sloan has 10. The Golden State Warriors continue to lead the game by 10 points. Barry fires. Way off. Sloan with the rebound, looking to run. Bringing the ball up court goes to Van Lier. Quickly in the corner to Lowe. Lowe. Now brings Chicago back to within 8. You call a timeout here and try to quiet things.
No, I think you try to run a real good play this time down the floor. If this doesn't work, maybe call a timeout the next time.
Golden State is missing a lot with Cliff Ray out with 4 personal fouls. Wilkes throws it up and hits it. Keith Wilkes. A man John Wooden said a unspectacular, spectacular player. You don't know all the things he's doing. He's so smooth and so fluid out there. 58-48 as Van Lier shoots, and again, the ball caroms off and will come inbounds to Golden State.
If you watch every time Chicago shoots, you see a lot of blue jerseys inside the white jerseys. That means they have good position on the rebounding, and they've done an excellent job so far, and I think that's why they have the 10-point lead.
Inside they go to Wilkes. He is matched against Roland Garrett. Outside to Charlie Johnson. A long shot, and Johnson puts it in on the line, and all of a sudden the Golden State Warriors have a 12-point lead once again, 60-48. We have 4 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the third quarter here at Chicago. Bill Bridges in the game now, getting set to come in. Inside, the ball is tipped by Love out of bounds. It'll come back the other way, and Golden State now with a chance to take command by 14 if they can hit a field goal here.
You mentioned Bill Bridges coming in the ball game. He played only 12 minutes of the first half, and had 8 rebounds, the leading rebounder in both teams, so he's doing a good job on the board.
And they need that rebounding strength now with Clifford Ray sideline with temporary foul trouble. He has 4. Here is Barry against Bob Love. One-on-one, Barry puts it up. Rebound slapped by Thurman, knocked over to Roland Garrett. Up court, the ball is tipped, and Butch Beard picks it off. Barry was the man who tipped the ball. Rick Barry ready to fire again. No, he's burning them now. He is just burning them. 62-48. Barry has scored 28 points with 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Van Lier starts to move inside. Al Addles up and yelling out at the official as we have a foul call against Golden State. The foul is on Butch Beard. He now has 4, Jerry.
Well, the Warriors are now in the bonus situation, and with Chicago going up the line. Here he is. Van Lier cuts inside the defense, and Butch Beard just reaches out and grabs him. But the Warriors are really getting themselves in a lot of foul trouble now, and Chicago has not had much success shooting from the field, and they could really stay in this ball game at the free throw line right now.
Golden State with 5 team fouls over the limit with 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, while Chicago has yet to acquire a single team foul. It's 62-50 Golden State. The Warriors dressed in blue coming up court, trailing 3 games to 2. At Landover, Maryland, the Bullets have started to pull away again now as they are up by 9 points at the end of the third quarter. Here is Rick Barry moving against Bob Love. Barry has no shot, so he goes to Butch Beard, puts it up on Sloan. In and out, tapped by Johnson, slapped away, and Beard comes up with the ball. The Warriors just working harder and getting the ball. Here is Charlie Johnson against Van Lier. George Johnson comes out high, sets a pick. Barry sets a pick, and Charlie Johnson takes it inside, can't get the shot. The rebound is knocked over the top of the backboard. It will come inbound to the Golden State Warriors.
Well, they're really doing a good job on the boards, and that's why they're getting so many second chances down here. And if they can continue to rebound like this, they're going to be in good shape.
And so now with 2:54 left to play in the third quarter, Golden State continues to lead by a 12-point margin. Jerry West, as you were pointing out earlier, rebounds have been the key in every game in this series. The leading rebounding team has won the game, and that's been a big difference, too. Golden State has had dominance of the board.
Golden State, they seem to live with 2 things. They're good rebounding and also Rick Barry scoring. If he doesn't score, they don't seem to play well. They don't rebound, they don't run. So consequently, Barry's not going to get the good shots that he wants.
62-50. Chicago in white is trailing in the game after leading in the second quarter by 9. Golden State rallying back to take an 8-point halftime lead, and now up to 12 late in the third quarter. Van Lier drives, puts it up real high, trying to get it over George Johnson, and a foul is called. I'll tell you, this Van Lier must be made out of concrete. He hits that deck about 15 times a game like a bowling ball dropping and bounces up like a greyhound. George Johnson gets his first foul. Have you ever seen a guy that hits the deck as hard as often?
I think he and Jerry Sloan spend more time on the floor than any two basketball players in the league, and maybe as much as all the other players combined.
They are a combative pair. They're ready to go to war every time out. Now it's a 10-point margin. Golden State in the lead with the ball. Here comes Butch Beard up court. With on the left flank, Charlie Johnson, and Sloan picks him up. They loop it in high to Charlie Johnson, George Johnson. Here's Charlie Johnson. Nice switch off. Thurman picks him, stops the penetration. Inside they go to George Johnson, and Van Lier takes the ball away. And a foul call on George Johnson. He gets his second. He has given him very little since he's been in, and Cliff Ray's gone out. It's amazing they've maintained the lead.
Okay, here's a man that's 6'1" against a man about 6'11". With his real quick hand, as he reaches in, George Johnson gives him a little shove, and Van Lier is going to have a chance to make a couple of free throws. But Chicago has a great opportunity because they're in the bonus situation. They haven't shot well from the field, and they could stay in this ball game. If they get it going in the last quarter, they could win the ball game.
Golden State is over the limit, so it'll be 3 chances to make 2. The penalty shot for Van Lier. Rebound to George Johnson. Looks for the outlet man. It's Charlie Johnson. Here comes Golden State on the run, but he quickly slows it up as Chicago's defense is back and set. George Johnson playing out high to keep Thurman away from the backboard. He drops off quickly when he looks like they might go low, though. Charlie Johnson is guarded on a switch off by Roland Garrett. Charlie Johnson forces a shot. The ball is tapped up, and Butch Beard comes off with it. To Rick Barry. He is blocked by Roland Garrett, who fouls Barry. And Rick Barry will shoot 2. So if percentages hold, Golden State will go up by 11 here. They lead by 9 right now. Garrett now has 4 personal fouls. He's not scored for Chicago. Intense and uncompromising Rick Barry. People ask him why he shoots free throws like that. He said his father taught him to play basketball, and he said that's how you shoot them.
Well, I tell you, if everyone could shoot free throws like this guy, I think you'd see a lot of players going to that shot. It wouldn't surprise me with the great success that he has, and you'd see a lot of kids try to shoot it like that.
Barry has scored 30 points with 1 minute and 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. Van Lier comes back and hits it for Chicago. Norm Van Lier now has scored 18 points for the Bulls. They are again back to within 9. 1:30 to go in the third quarter. Beard looks to go inside. Thurman pitching off. Here is Barry putting it up off the run. Rebound comes down to Van Lier. Barry with his hands raised protesting he was fouled. And the ball goes off the heel of Bill Bridges, the intended lead pass in the corner, and Golden State will go on defense. Chicago to inbound the ball.
Very important Chicago cut this deficit down a little bit as they go into the last quarter.
Thurman looks for the men cutting, feeds off to Sloan. Baseline is shut off by Johnson. Sloan feeds off to Thurman, loses the ball. Love has it. And George Johnson goes way up, gets the rebound. He was fouled on the play.
He really wanted that rebound, Don. He really went up in a pack of people and just yanked it out of there, and he's going to have a chance to shoot a couple of free throws now.
Roland Garrett just got his 5th personal foul.
Okay, watch this guy go up. Look at all the hands around him. He just snags the ball out of there. Looked like he wanted to hit someone with the elbow.
Backcourt foul sends George Johnson to the free throw line. In the third quarter still, at the end of the third quarter now, it is Washington leading the Boston Celtics by 9 points at Landover, Maryland, 73-64. George Johnson from Dillard College. He almost goes out of the building when he goes up.
He's one of the great jumpers in the league, and for a guy his size, it's remarkable that he can jump like that.
Where is Dillard College?
I have no idea.
New Orleans. I didn't know either. It is 66-55. Golden State is in the lead as Chet Walker back in the game tries to work on Berry. They go out to Van Lier, the way outside shot. Van Lier pops it, and he now has 20 points.
Well, I think it's important for Chicago to try to get this ball to their forwards. Their forwards do the best scoring for them, and they have really lost them here in the second half of this ball game so far.
Charlie Johnson puts it up. Slapped, and Bob Love loses it, and Golden State will put the ball in bounds with 2 seconds on the third quarter clock. So they got to throw up the home run ball, and Bob Love's coming out to cover Rick Berry. They get it to Berry. Here's a shot at the buzzer. Woo! With Jerry West, this is Don Criqui back at sold-out Chicago Stadium. Fourth quarter, as Cliff Ray is back in with 4 fouls to go up against Nate Thurman. Thurman gets the tap, goes to Love. Jeff Mullins in the game for Golden State to open the fourth quarter as Van Lier puts it up and hits it. He has been so tough. Norm Van Lier, he now has 22 points. 13 of them in the second half. 13 of them in the third quarter. Rick Berry is going to look to put it up. He can't. Bob Love steals the ball, picks it up. And now he slows it down, waits for some help. 67-62. Van Lier starts down the baseline. Berry blocks it from behind and takes the ball away. A beautiful defensive play by Rick Berry. Up court to Bill Bridges. Inside to Berry. Turnaround shot. Berry hits it off glass, fading away. 69-62. Golden State by 7. In the fourth quarter, it is 75-68. Dave Cowens going into the fourth quarter with 23 points for the Celtics. Washington in the lead of that game, a game the Celtics must win. Jerry Sloan looks for the shot, goes inside to Walker against Rick Berry. Rebound knocked around, and 2 Golden State players compete for the ball, and they both lose it.
Well, this is a very frustrating time. It seems like every time you have a good play made, somehow you find a way to lose the ball in a rebound basket. That would have been a big rebound for Golden State there.
So Chicago will inbound the ball, trailing by 7 early in the fourth quarter. The pass goes to Walker. Thurman arcs up a hook shot. Rebound kept over to Bill Bridges. And Golden State now comes down court cautiously. Johnson skipping up, switching hands on the dribble.
What Golden State's going to have to do is they're just going to have to keep moving the basketball, not so much with the dribble. Get it to Rick Berry, let him go to work on Bob Love and Chet Walker, and see if they can continue to do it the rest of the ball game.
Give and go to Cliff Ray, and Cliff Ray gets it on the bank shot. Berry assisting. And Golden State quickly goes out in front by 9 after seeing their lead cut to 5. Van Lier looks to penetrate inside. Johnson's done a good job shutting off the driving cars in the Chicago backcourt. Van Lier's getting a lot of shots, though. And he is really burning Johnson, who's leaving him free a lot on offense. Looking to get back in it. They can come within 5 again now. The field goal here. 9:40 to play in the game. Love drives the lane, lays the ball up, and was on the way down. Goaltend, the bucket goes.
Okay, here's Bob Love rolling inside. Notice the one thing he does. He arches the ball up with his hand, and Clifford Ray touches it on his downward flight. Very good call by the official.
Jeff Mullins brings the ball inbound, throws it. Charles Johnson, who brings it over the timeline against Van Lier. Out high to set a pick is Ray. Cliff Ray looks for Berry. Goes to Mullins. Berry standing off to the left side. Ray with the ball on the right side. You see the shot clock winding down as they go to Charles Johnson for the jump shot. He gets a big one for the Golden State Warriors. They lead by 7.
You have to like Golden State patience in that situation. Clifford Ray could have taken that job, but he's not a good shooter from there. He got it to the man, Charlie Johnson, and Johnson converted for them.
Well, a very, very big factor in this game is the fact that if Chicago should lose on the home floor today, when they go back for Game 7, it would be at Oakland. So the Golden State Warriors would have the home court for the 7th game. And Golden State has not won in the series at Chicago. Lost 3 of 4 to the Bulls during regular season play. Here's Mullins looking to drive, goes to Rick Berry. And a foul is signaled against Chicago. First team foul of the quarter. It's on Norm Van Lier. He has 4. Both teams starting to get some fouls. Butch Beard has 5 for Golden State. Cliff Ray has 4. He's not fouled since he picked up 4 early in the third quarter. Inside they go to Ray. Up towards the Love. Berry coming down to the pen. Now Love lays it in. It is 73-68, a 5-point lead for the Golden State Warriors.
You know, as well as Golden State has played, they only have a 5-point lead, and you just just get a feeling that Chicago's going to come back and play real well late in this ball game.
Johnson has the ball. He loses the shot. Van Lier coming down court. Norm Van Lier in and out, and Cliff Ray with great position takes down the rebound, and we have a loose ball foul signaled against the Chicago Bulls. Cliff Ray has been a vital man for Golden State in this game. Absolutely vital. When he's been out with foul trouble, they've seen that lead diminish. Now it's 73-68, and Golden State will inbounds the ball as Keith Wilkes gets set to come back in the game. Jeff Mullins working in backcourt with Charles Johnson. Bill Bridges, Rick Barry, Cliff Ray up front. Barry looks, fires to Ray all alone, and he slams it down.
Okay, on that particular play, Clifford Ray scores a basket, but he was also hanging on the rim, and it's going to cost him a technical foul. He dumps the ball, but watch him hang on to the rim. That's a technical foul.
Now, the reason you wonder why that would be a technical foul, well, you get a shattered backboard, you got about a 40-minute delay.
I think they put that rule in effect when Gus Johnson was playing in the NBA. He broke up. Okay, here we have to play. Barry goes up the shot. He spots Ray underneath. Ray goes up, dunks, and hangs on the basket. And the officials just won't allow that. Looked like he's on a swing.
And in fairness to Clifford Ray, the reason he hung on is he saw him being bumped after he shot. He could have taken a fall like he saw Chet Walker take a little earlier. He was protecting himself. Al Adams comes out now, shouts out instructions as Cliff. And here goes Cliff Ray to the free throw line.
Okay, Ray's going to have a chance to complete the three-point play, but Washington has a 7-point lead over Boston in the fourth quarter.
Early in the fourth quarter, Celtics now back to within 7. They were down by 15. 7:40 left to play in that game. Clifford Ray will shoot the free throw. It is 76-68. Cliff Ray has 8 points for Golden State. Van Lier has been the key man on the Bulls backcourt today. Gary Sloan getting set to come back in. Here is Chet Walker working off a pick from Thurman. A pick, a standing block. One man stands there, his teammate comes by him, and the defense runs into the block of the pick man. Shot clock almost out as Walker puts up a prayer, and the ball is tipped out of bounds by Cliff Ray.
If you notice where Chicago's forwards are ending up, they're ending up at the top of the foul line, and they like to catch the ball in on the side. So you've got to give credit to Golden State's defense. They've done a good job in forcing them out higher.
Gary Sloan gets the ball. Goes to Van Lier. Van Lier looks inside. They had the lane all cleared out. They're opening it up for the guards to move inside and feed off. And here comes Van Lier looking to turn the corner. And out and puts up the jump shot. Rebound sent up by Sloan, and Cliff Ray, way up and over the rim, sweeps down the rebound. Looks menacingly at former teammate Norm Van Lier.
Hey, no, those big guys don't like those little guys swatting at them underneath the basket.
Like flies bothering them.
These guys are worse than flies. They're like cats in there scratching and clawing away.
They are. That's what somebody described the Chicago guards as like alley cats. Wilkes puts the shot up, but too late. And for a second time in this game, the Golden State Warriors are denied a shot because they did not get it off within the allotted 24 seconds. And now, Golden State wants a timeout with 6:55 to play. A new attendance record here at Chicago Stadium, 19,594. We have 6:55 left to play at Chicago Stadium. The Golden State Warriors, backed up, having to win, are up by 8 points, 76-68. And on Wednesday night, you'll see NBA playoff action. You'll see either the 7th game of one of the final series from the conferences, or if they're both decided today, and it doesn't appear they will be if Golden State can hold on, you would see the first round of the championship game, but you will see NBA playoff basketball Wednesday night on CBS. Perhaps the 7th game of this series if it goes that far. Perhaps the opening of the championship series. Bob Love puts it up, gets the roll, but it doesn't go. Keith Wilkes takes down the rebound. In the game for Golden State, we start down the stretch. Charlie Johnson with the ball, Jeff Mullins, Bill Bridges, Keith Wilkes, and Cliff Ray. Rick Barry is out being rested.
This is a very critical point for Golden State without Rick Barry in the lineup. If they can hold this lead, They should be in pretty good shape going down to the wire.
Matt Gugas in the game for Chicago. Feeds out to Van Lier. Cannot penetrate. Shut off by Mullins. 6:10 to go in the game. Golden State by 8 as Sloan puts up the turnaround shot. Rebound down to Bridges. He gets his hooks on him. You know he's got it. Big, powerful Bill Bridges, who is the most experienced playoff man on either team. He's played more playoff games than even Chet Walker's in his 104th. Bridges now has 10 rebounds for Golden State. A long shot by Johnson is on time, and all of a sudden, the Golden State Warriors again open up a 10-point lead. 5:35 to play. Every time they can hit and maintain the lead, it gives that Berry that much more chance to rest. Van Lier coming up court.
You know, Golden State taking a little bit more time with their offense now that they have this lead, and also with Rick Barry on the bench.
5:18 to go with 6 minutes left to play. Washington maintaining an 8-point lead. Bridges puts it up. Oh, that might have been a killer. That gave the Golden State Warriors a 12-point lead with 5:07 to go, and Chicago wants a timeout as the Warriors are up, back slapping, hand clapping, and rightfully so, as they have played the big, big game. With 5:07 to go, they lead by 12. They are literally almost hanging from the rafters here in Chicago. Almost 19,600, and a stadium record for the Chicago Bulls. As the Bulls have an 80-68, the Golden State Warriors have an 80-68 lead. And now they have the ball as it's tipped over to Charlie Johnson, and Al Adams gets up and screams out, "Settle it down, run the clock." 4:45 to go. Van Lier hawking the ball, unrelenting. He's got to get it back if Golden State's lead is to be cut. Barry against Sloan. Shot clock winding down to 7 seconds. Barry puts it up on Sloan. Rebound to Boerwinkle. To Sloan. Up court to Van Lier. Conversely, Chicago's got a run. And Chet Walker gets it going to the basket to bring the Bulls back to within 10. It's 80-70. A lot of time left. 4:15 to go.
The way Chicago plays defense, there's an awful lot of time. But Golden State is really playing very smart basketball. They're moving the ball around real well. They're getting the ball to the guy with the hot hand, and they seem to be in control of this game at this point.
Running good patterns of offense. They free Rick Barry, and he drills it. Rick Barry, who's been dormant for a while on offense, all of a sudden puts up his 33rd and 34th points. The big game on offense on both ends of the floor from Rick Barry has keyed this Golden State lead of 12 points. Barry is at 13 of 27 shots in the field. Van Lier is 9 of 17. Love is 9 of 22. Van Lier is blocked by Charles Johnson. Ball is knocked over to Bridges. Up court to Ray, and he quickly stops and sets it up. No, right the other way to Rick Barry. Looks to go to the baseline and shut off by Bob Love. So Barry brings it back outside, and the shot clock winds down, as does the game clock. 3.5 minutes to go. Barry feeds to Clifford Ray. Big guy dribbles it outside. Jeff Mullins on the drive puts it up, and there was a call against Bill Bridges. 3 seconds. Ball turns over to the Bulls.
For Chicago, they're going to have to score this time down the floor. It's a very important time for them.
3:15 to go. Inside they go to Chet Walker. He looks for the outlet man. Barry sucks the ball away and out of bounds. And it will come inbounds to Golden State. Rick Barry whacked it off a Chicago Bulls foot. Oh, whatever. 82-70. Golden State is in the lead. They trailed in the second quarter by 9 points. They led at the half by 8. They had the big second quarter. Have not trailed since, although Chicago threatened the lead late in the third quarter. Now Charlie Johnson hits it. When you're going right, they all go for it.
That's right. Charlie Johnson really played a fine ball game. He's got Chicago out of their offense by pressing Norm Van Lier, and to credit this Golden State team.
Must be loving this back in the Bay Area, as the Golden State Warriors are really playing the big game the day they had to do it.
Okay, on that last play, Bill Bridges, again, gets a pretty good piece of Chet Walker as he cuts inside. Hits him in the face, and Walker's going to have a chance to shoot a free throw.
And we have a man, poor Chet Walker. He's really taking his lumps today. You'll recall early in the game, Bridges going to block a shot, inadvertently kicked him in the nose. Now he gets a shot in the eye, and in between he fell flush smack on the small of his back, driving to the basket. So Chester Walker at age 35 has aged a great deal here today. Washington, Boston with 3 minutes left to go. It is the Capitals on the verge of eliminating the Boston Celtics with a 10-point lead down the stretch, 92-82. The Chicago Bulls have the oldest team in the NBA. Their top 6 players average, believe it or not, 32 years in age. Take a team like Buffalo where the starters average under 25. Berry feeds to Butch Beard. He can't get the shot. That would have been the backbreaker. Now it's down court to Bob Love, and he weaves his way inside against Mullen and lays it in. So it would have been the backbreaker. What would have given Golden State a 16-point lead instead comes back the other way, and now Chicago cuts it to 12.
Well, I like Golden State's position at this point. It's really nice to have a 12-point lead, have the ball. They've got to foul you to get the ball back.
Butch Beard's shot is disallowed.
No basket. Offensive foul, Butch Beard.
It's an offensive foul against Butch Beard, and that's his afternoon, but a successful one it was. Because Golden State is going to go back to Oakland, California for Wednesday night's 7th game. As they lead 84-72. Chicago Bulls would have to hit 90% and put it up often down the stretch to catch him now.
Well, Chicago really has not shot the ball well in the second half, but I think you have to give a great deal of the credit to the Golden State Warriors defense. They played a very smart basketball game defensively, offensively. Rick Barry early in the ball game with 20 first half points, got them off early, and they played very confidently throughout this ball game.
Matt Kukas goes high to Boerwinkle, the best feeder in the league. Can't get it into Walker as Barry takes it away. Barry, very adroit handling the ball, brings it up at 6'8". They back off him. He'll go to the basket if they press him. 84-72. Phil Smith, the rookie out of San Francisco, in the game. Golden State looking to wind down the clock as they start to file out a record crowd from the Chicago Stadium who came to see their team go to the finals for the first time. And Barry puts in a line drive, looks over at Jerry West.
And he says, take that.
Just like you, Coach. 86-72. Matt Kukas against Mullen. Bobby Wilson in the game. He is explosive, but he's got to be a bomb right now to get them back. And here comes Phil Smith leading the break on the right flank as Jeff Mullins. He slows it up. And now Smith starts to go inside and is shut off by Wilson. 1:08 left to go, and the clock runs down. And now Al Attles calls his team over. He can't help but break a big smile, and you can't help but say a lot of good things about Al Attles because he's been the focal point of this team's success. The final score, Washington 98, the Boston Celtics 92, and the Washington Bullets are the NBA's Eastern Conference champions. They go to the NBA Finals. The Golden State Warriors 86, the Chicago Bulls 72. We'll be back with Jerry West in the Golden State Warriors locker room in a moment.
We're in a very happy Golden State Warrior locker room, and Rick Barry had the Super Bowl game today. Rick, you have any change in game plan as you approach this ball game today?
Yes, we did, Jerry. We made a few adjustments. We're not going to, of course, tell you what they are because then Chicago would know. We'll have to let them figure it out on the film. But they certainly worked, and I was very happy with our performance out there today. I think it was a matter of us playing excellent defense. We started off in the first 2-3 minutes, and they were a little bit more aggressive than we were. But after that point, we really came alive and did a heck of a job defensively. It got our offense going, and we got them playing our game for a change.
Rick, if we look at the monitor here, you can get some idea of what you were doing with your offense. It looked like to me early in the ball game that you decided to shoot the ball a lot.
Yes, I did on that move right there. I knew I had Chet Walker on me, and it's difficult for him to guard me, so I tried to give him a quick fake and got him out of position. And here's a play where we got great penetration by Butch Beard, who took it all the way to the basket, something we have not gotten in very many balls.
Well, Chicago is difficult to get inside again.
Yes, they are, but when you get the ball at the floor quickly before their defense is set, you can do a pretty good job.
Here's a collision that occurs many times when you play against Chicago.
Yes, they're an aggressive defensive team, and that's the way Norm Van Lier plays, and you have to admire him for his hustle out there. Well, that's just one of those shots that when you're feeling good, you let it fly and you hope that it goes in.
Every team that has won the ball game of the backboards has won the ball game this series so far, and your team won it easily today.
Yes, we did a good job on the boards, and we also didn't make that many mistakes. Here's a pick and roll play to Clifford Ray, something that has not worked very effectively, but we were fortunate to get it at that particular time.
You know, I always feel that when you have the basketball and you're shooting the ball well, you seem to attract another defensive man. And a lot of times today, you shot well early in the ball game, and you had second man over there, and you were able to hit him for some easy baskets.
Yes, that's something that we haven't been able to do. As I've said, in the last 3 ball games, I had played very, very poorly in the first half. My shooting was off, and I think it enabled Chicago to play a better type of a defense. But when I'm hitting the ball, they have to try and send men to me. When they do that, If they don't get to me quick enough, I can still get the shot off. If they get to me, I can pass the ball to the open man and try to break him down. And we were able to do that today, and we're looking forward to the 7th game back in our place.
Rick, Super Bowl game, and good luck in the 7th game at Oakland.
Thanks.
Okay, let's go back to Don Criqui.
Thank you, Jerry. With Rick Barry, who just had one of his big games in the playoffs ever, and he is the 3rd point per game average man